Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Carter Hour. Really liking this live stream on the iPhone X or the iPhone 10. I like X better. I think that's a lot better. They should have just called it the iPhone X instead of the iPhone 10. But anyway, well, I know I haven't done an update video on the rack in a while. And sorry, my hand is getting shaky. I was going to try to do this in 4K, but I don't think I can live stream in 4K. So I wanted to kind of go over the updates I did on the rack since I've done the last rack video. And as you can see, I've got two watch guard boxes. One there and one down here. Those aren't actually watch guard boxes though. They're just using the components. And the reason I chose these is because look how many network interfaces that I can have, and I can do a lot of VLANing on this. But these are modified pfSense, or these are modified WatchGuard boxes with pfSense on them. And yes, the digital display does work. I've got my Cisco SG200 26 port switches, two of them. And I have about several VLANs going on in here that require a firewall to do VLANing too, because they're split. There's doing some IPsec tunnels and things like that. But as you guys know, the infamous Synology box. Yes, it's the 1815 Plus. They replaced my 1815 Plus with a new one, or well, probably a refurbished. But it seems to be operating quite well. I just updated it to the newest 6.14 and some numbers behind it. And then I've got two internet connections, of course. I've got the ATT Uverse, and then I've got the Charter. And well, these are familiar. These were I had these even before I put the rack in here. There is the first VMware box, second VMware box, and this it's this one that runs the vCenter, and I can actually move virtual machines between these two without shared storage. So the Synology actually doesn't act as a shared storage, but acts as its own entity, its own server. The backups are on this array here, and then this array is for file storage and things like that. But what I did with the old firewall, or well, not so old firewall, I guess, is right here. This is the old firewall that I had way up here. Well, okay, way up there, and now it's down here. And since the pfSense doesn't offer native mail filtering, this is what this is using, and I'm using Mail Cleaner down there to do the mail filtering. And unfortunately, Mail Cleaner only had a virtual, like a virtual setup that you would have to run it off a virtual box in order to make it work. Well, what I did was I started it on a virtual box, and then what I did was I used CloneZilla to clone it over to a physical box. So now it's running on an SSD here on a physical box because I didn't want any virtualization going on. This is such an efficient box that it barely uses any electricity whatsoever. The fans only come on when it's needed, and since this is such a lightweight box now, nothing comes on. It doesn't get hot or anything like that. So this is the front of the rack, and as you guys knew, I put some LED lighting that I can change over. And so I had the rack apart a couple of weeks ago, and I was doing the new firewalls, and the actual WatchGuard hardware is very good. It's older, but it sure does do its job. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. Having all of these NIC interfaces. So, if I want to expand, or I want to have one private virtual machine down here have its own private LAN, and then I can actually port it out this way, But right now what I did was, instead of using an individual interface for VLAN, I just do all the VLANing through one interface. And you're probably wondering why I'm using 2 WatchGuard boxes. Well, the reason is this was a plan. It's still not done yet, but these are going to be redundant firewalls. So if I have to take that one down and maintain it or do the updates, this one will take over. However, I can't do that until I upgrade my charter to the business, the business version, so I can get static IPs to do that with. However, it seems to be working quite well. You see, I've got those up there, and got the 2 internet connections coming in. So this is the front. About 3 months ago, I had to replace all the batteries in the APC unit. So it's got a nice fresh set of battery, or well, I guess you could call it set 4, right? So 2 sets of batteries go in this guy, and they're 12 volt 7 MAH, MAH batteries. I could have upgraded them to the 9, but they wanted a lot more money for them. So we come around, and usually what I do is I tilt the case. What am I talking about? The rack. Come into the back here, and this is the back of the rack, and that's all the equipment in the front. And I have a Cisco SG300 20-port switch here, and this is where all the redundancy for the firewalls happens. Now I'm just using it as a pass-through right now, and how I'm doing that is different individual VLANs. So it can be utilized, the switch can actually be utilized as a local area network switch, and also as independent networking. And then this is pretty much similar to the videos I've showed you last time, but one thing I did add, because I was running out of power ports over here on this power strip, is I added this power strip. And the neat thing about that was is I picked this up on eBay, and it was $34.99 on eBay, free shipping, and I put it said $34.99 or best offer. So I put an offer $25. The guy came back to me with $30. I said, well, that's not bad. And I was thinking that this unit was going to be used. Well, I got it in the box. It had a compact box, and I'm like, well, that's kind of ironic, because this is a compact rack. And I get the power distribution module, or power distribution unit is what they call a PDU. I unbox it, and it's brand new in the box. And this, mind you, is like 18 years old. This was from 19 years ago. It was brand new in the box, so it was like new old stock, and it was pretty cool. So I was just expecting a used one. I didn't care if it was new. I just wanted it to function. So I had plenty of plugs left over in there. And what I had to do is I had to change the plugs out so I could use the bladed style instead of the twist lock, because my power unit, or my battery backup unit, doesn't have the twist style plugs. I'm not running enough off of it to worry about having twist style plugs, but yes, I could change the back of that battery backup to have those twist lock style. And then I got an old Hansel monitor. I don't even think they make monitors anymore, but this just sits back here for, if I have to work on the VMware machines or anything else that requires a monitor. But this actually was my first flat screen monitor I ever purchased back in, I think it was 2004. And it still works. It was really expensive too. It was like close to $300 back then. That's like a 15-inch screen. That was quite crazy what they asked for those back then. But yep, this is the rack as is right now. And let's see if we can get a view behind here. There. That's the Synology back there. And then on top of it is the drive that backs up the Synology. So I just wanted to show you guys this. Figured it would be quite cool to show you guys what had going on. Anyway, trying to do this live stream thing, but figured it would shoot in 4K, but it doesn't. But I really like the new iPhone 10. I gotta say, guys, if you have an opportunity to get one, even though they're really expensive, it really works well. I gotta say, I'm really impressed. And then what's neat about this is I've got like instead of this being like a plastic back here and holding in, you know, the heat, it actually pushes the heat out back through here. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, and my work area is a little bit busy right now. I'm trying to go through and throw some stuff away, but there it is in all its glory. I only waited 20 some years to get something like this, but I gotta say, I was lucky at the time. I found this rack on Craigslist and bought it for like $200, and it's in literally pristine condition. So anyway, well, there's a tour of the rack anyways, and pretty cool. So anyways, ladies and gents, for another edition of the Carter Hour via the live stream, just kind of wanted to do a random video, data center update, but I'll go more into the details, what I did and how I had to do those WatchGuard firewalls with the pfSense. But what these are XTM8s, okay? A lot of people do these with XTM5s because they're much simpler, and they have they're simpler because they don't have a video card integrated within the hardware. These do, actually. The XTM5 doesn't. They use a serial port, but it's on COM1, where these serial ports are on COM2, and it makes it very difficult. So you have to actually use some jumper cables and things like that. But I'll go into that in another video. But there it is, ladies and gents. Again, I want to say thanks for joining me on another video, and appreciate all your support and people subscribing. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to subscribe if you'd like, and we'll talk at you guys later. Well, I guess it's the 9th now, so I missed my daily live stream. But anyways, ladies and gents, take care. Bye for now.